if Ferrari suddenly looked at the SUV world, looked at all the giant luxury crossovers trying to act sporty, and said, fine, you want a real performance SUV? We'll remind you who invented automotive emotion in the first place. Now, imagine they revive one of the most legendary names in their history, the Ferrari Dino 246 GT. But instead of bringing it back as a tiny nostalgic coupe, they transform it into a futuristic, high-performance SUV for 2027. Yeah, that sounds dangerous. Because this isn't just another luxury family hauler with a fancy badge slapped on the hood. The hypothetical Ferrari Dino 246 GTS SUV 2027 feels like the kind of machine that could start arguments at dinner tables, destroy brand purists emotionally, and at the exact same time, become one of the most desirable SUVs on Earth. And honestly, that's exactly why this thing is fascinating. Welcome back to Avengers Autos. The moment you first see the Ferrari Dino 246 GT sub, your brain almost struggles to process it. It carries Ferrari DNA everywhere, but the proportions feel completely rebellious. The front sits low and aggressive for an SUV, almost like someone inflated a futuristic supercar, just enough to make it practical without ruining its soul. From a distance, it looks less like a traditional SUV, and more like a spaceship disguised as a grand tour. The front fascia is where Ferrari would probably make their statement. Loud and clear, forget giant ugly grills. Ferrari doesn't need to scream for attention instead. Imagine ultra-slim laser LED headlights, slicing across the front like the eyes of a predator at night. Beneath them, massive air channels feed cooling systems. For a hybrid performance setup that's likely pushing absurd numbers, every vent feels functional. Every angle feels expensive. Nothing looks decorative. This thing would probably cut through air, like it's angry at the atmosphere itself. And then there's the hood. Long sculpted. Dramatic, it stretches forward like classic Ferraris used to, giving the SUV proportions that feel emotional instead of boxy. Most SUVs today look like luxury refrigerators with wheels. This Dino SUV, it looks alive. Moving to the side profile, you immediately notice how Ferrari would likely avoid the bulky, oversized shape dominating modern performance SUVs. Instead, the roofline stays low and flowing, almost coupe-like, but not in that impractical, your rear passengers now hate you kind of way. It balances aggression with elegance surprisingly well. Huge aerodynamic wheels sit tucked beneath muscular arches, probably ranging from 22 to 24 inches depending on trim. And knowing Ferrari, they wouldn't just be big for visual drama. These wheels would likely be engineered to channel airflow around the body for stability at ridiculous speeds. Because let's be honest here, if Ferrari makes a Dino SUV, this thing isn't stopping at normal SUV speeds. It's probably hunting supercars on highways. The rear design could end up being the most controversial part. Ferrari traditionally understands beauty better than almost anyone, but SUVs naturally challenge elegance. Yet somehow imagining this Dino SUV with ultra-thin, floating tail lights and active rear diffuser, quad exhaust outlets, and a sharply sculpted tailgate actually sounds believable. Not beautiful in a soft luxury way, beautiful in a terrifying way. Like a machine designed by people who think speed is a religion. In the road presence, completely absurd. Imagine pulling up beside something like the Lamborghini Urus or the Aston Martin DBX. Those cars already dominate attention in traffic. But a Ferrari SUV wearing the Dino name would create a completely different atmosphere. People wouldn't just stare because it's expensive. They'd stare because they're confused, excited, angry, curious, and obsessed all at once. That's the power of Ferrari. Inside the cabin is where things could become truly futuristic. Most luxury interiors today are trying too hard to look like lounges. Ferrari would likely focus on making the driver feel emotionally connected first. So instead of giant, empty, minimalist spaces, expect a cockpit that wraps around you like a fighter jet. The dashboard would probably combine physical controls with holographic-style digital interfaces. Ferrari understands drama. They know pressing a start button should feel like launching something important. So picture ambient lighting flowing across carbon fiber surfaces, while the entire digital cluster wakes up with cinematic animations inspired by classic Ferrari race cars. And yes, there would absolutely be giant screens. But hopefully not the soulless tablet on dashboard nonsense infecting the entire industry. Ferrari would likely integrate the technology directly into the architecture of the cabin, making it feel intentional rather than glued on at the last minute. Passenger displays, AI-assisted navigation, augmented reality driving overlays, biometric driver profiles. All of it could realistically appear in a 2027 Ferrari flagship SUV. The steering wheel itself would probably become a conversation piece. Ferrari already puts race-inspired controls directly on the wheel, but by 2027 this could evolve into something almost aircraft-like. Touch-sensitive drive selectors, adaptive suspension modes, hybrid energy deployment controls, maybe even customizable driving personalities that change throttle, mapping, steering weight, sound character, and ambient lighting simultaneously. Basically, your SUV develops moods. The materials would need to feel extraordinary too. Not just expensive emotional. Real carbon fiber open-pore aluminum, hand-stitched Italian leather, softer than most luxury furniture. Sustainable materials would probably play a role as well, because even Ferrari knows the industry is shifting. But unlike some brands that make sustainability feel boring, Ferrari would likely make it feel high-tech and exclusive. Rear passengers wouldn't feel forgotten either. Unlike older Ferraris, where the back seats basically existed for legal reasons, the Dino SUV could genuinely function as a luxury grand touring vehicle, heated reclining seats, individual entertainment systems, advanced climate zones, and enough legroom for adults to survive long journeys without filing complaints against the driver. And then comes the biggest question of all: what powers it? This is where things get interesting. A pure V12 sounds emotionally correct. But realistically, Ferrari's future is hybrid performance. So the Dino 246 GTS SUV would most likely combine a twin-turbo V8 with advanced electric motors, producing somewhere between 850 and 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, 1,000 horsepower family SUV. Completely unnecessary, completely insane. Completely Ferrari, and honestly, the electric assistance could actually make the driving experience more dramatic instead of less emotional. Instant torque would launch this thing like a missile, while the combustion engine still provides the screaming soundtrack Ferrari fans crave. Picture this for a second. You're driving through a city silently in EV mode, barely making noise. People casually glance over, thinking it's just another luxury SUV. Then you switch into performance mode. The engine wakes up violently. The suspension lowers itself, active aero systems adjust in real time, and suddenly the entire vehicle transforms into something that feels genetically engineered for speed. That dual personality is exactly where the future of performance is heading, and Ferrari knows it. Handling would probably become the real magic trick here. SUVs or heavy physics still exists, unfortunately, but modern active suspension systems are becoming so advanced that some high-performance SUVs already corner with shocking confidence. Now imagine Ferrari engineers attacking that problem. Rear-wheel steering, predictive suspension scanning, torque vectoring, adaptive anti-roll systems. The Dino SUV could realistically end up feeling smaller than it actually is. Not lightweight exactly, but alive. Responsive, dangerous in the best possible way. In the sound, that's where Ferrari absolutely cannot fail. Because people can forgive an SUV. They can forgive hybrid technology. But if a Ferrari stops sounding emotional, the entire illusion collapses. So expect engineers to obsess over acoustics, like musicians crafting instruments. Even if regulations continue tightening globally, Ferrari will likely find ways to preserve drama through exhaust tuning, cabin resonance engineering, and synthetic enhancement systems that don't sound fake or embarrassing. Daily usability is another area where this SUV could shock people. Ferrari owners are increasingly using their cars regularly, not just parking them in climate-controlled garages beside expensive watches nobody touches. The Dino SUV could become the first Ferrari many owners genuinely drive. Every single day: school runs, road trips, airport drives, late-night highway pulls that suddenly become life memories. That practicality changes everything. Because now Ferrari isn't only competing with Lamborghini anymore. It's targeting ultra-luxury giants like the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Bentley Bentayga, and even futuristic electric monsters from brands like Tesla and Porsche. But emotionally, none of those brands carry Ferrari's mythology. And that's why this hypothetical Dino SUV matters. It represents something bigger than just another expensive performance vehicle. It symbolizes the moment Ferrari fully accepts that the future of automotive passion may not look like the past anymore. Some enthusiasts will hate that idea forever. To them, Ferrari should only build low-slung supercars, screaming around racetracks. An SUV wearing the Dino badge might feel almost offensive. But others will see something different: evolution, survival. A company trying to preserve emotion in a world rapidly becoming digital silent. and automated because whether people admit it or not, the automotive industry is changing faster than ever before. Electrification is coming. AI is coming, autonomous systems are coming. And many modern cars already feel less emotional than smartphones. Ferrari's biggest challenge isn't just building fast cars anymore. It's protecting the feeling. And strangely enough, a futuristic Dino SUV might actually help do that. Because if Ferrari can inject genuine passion into a practical, high-tech performance SUV, then maybe there's hope for the future of driving after all. The Ferrari Dino 246 GTS SUV 2027 may never exist exactly like this. But if it did, it wouldn't simply be another luxury SUV entering the market. It would be a statement, a rebellion, a rolling argument about what Ferrari should become in the next generation. And honestly, that sounds unbelievably exciting. But now the real question is yours. If Ferrari actually brought back the Dino name as a futuristic hybrid SUV, would you call it a masterpiece of evolution? Or proof that the automotive world has completely lost its mind? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, this is Avengers Autos signing off.